started live with little or no editing. It's Defense Up. I'm Run 7. How you doing? Today we're going over Solomon Zundi's defense, and they are 37 million operating in Plat 2. Now, we had the first half of their roster was really simple and straightforward and done pretty well. They are a very lean roster with only 37 million. They've got a lot of the big new stuff built up well, and so there's not a ton of choices we get to swap out. The second half of their roster, we had so many content creators in the voice chat today. Like, I literally had to walk out of that voice chat today because it was so noisy for a stream. We had so many content creators with so many great ideas that I have like 2 ways to go on the second half of this one. So it's going to be pretty interesting. We're going to go through them. Remember, if you want your defense featured on Defense Up, both War or Crucible, all you need to do is go down into the description. You will see a link to my Discord. Find me, send me a message and say, hey, Run, I want to be on Defense Up, and I'll put you on the list. It's that easy, it really is. Also, while you're down there, hit that like and subscribe button. It really does help me out. Okay, room number 1 is the Unlimited X-Men, older team, but it still does the job. The only thing we found wrong with this is, aside from like going to something a little bit more meta and we just don't have the roster width to pull it off, is to just change some ISOs. It may not change the outcome, but we kind of split hairs here sometimes, and this is one of those cases. So, Dazzler and Rogue, we want to make them raiders so they cannot be controlled. They will clear the ability block if it lands on them and be able to do what they need to do, and that's kind of important for this team to function. You don't have to change that, like I said, but technically speaking, it's probably better to have them as raiders. So if you're on an ISO crunch, play it. It's probably still going to call out the same team and lose to the same team no matter what. But if your opponent makes a mistake, having those characters free to do what they need to do could be the difference. So I think we go ahead and make the changes on those ISOs. Otherwise, placement, all that's fine. This isn't a cutting edge team, but like I said, we just didn't have the roster width to change out anything else. Team number 2, once again, once Zundi gets Spider Society up and running, probably going to swap them out. But right now, they don't have Penny. At least they didn't have them on their offensive roster. So without the Spider Society, this is the second best choice in here. It's a great team. They're very powerful. A lot of times they need to take some hits up front, so having them built bigger is the way to go. I like a big rescue. Iron Man Infinity War is going to get some play with Kestrel on some hybrid teams. And then, of course, your Mark II, she needs to have enough focus to land her stun in a lot of places. So building this team bigger is not a problem at all. I think that's the only thing we do. I think it's still an A for this team, but I'd like to see a little bit more investment as we move forward with them. And then in room number 3, we have what's left over with the Extreme team. Sam was not a great choice in here, so that's why I'm giving this a B, maybe even a B minus. He's not terrible. He is adding speed to the team, but putting another X-Men in place, especially a smaller X-Men that could die, changes everything. What happens when an X-Men dies? I don't know the pluralization on a team name like X-Men. What happens when one of them dies? Well, it triggers Forge. He has in his passive, and Cyclops has in his passive, a boatload of turn meter that's going to happen on Forge if somebody dies. And then Sunspot is going to have the rest of the team with offense up in the aggroed room where people with offense up assist. Now, Forge is taking at least 1 turn, if not 2, and the entire team is assisting on that, all because you killed a little bishop or a Phoenix. And by the way, those are some of the best choices you could replace Sam with. You could even go Jubilee, just a small X-Men. You want them to die. Bishop being the best choice, especially if he's small, because he starts with that taunt and he's going to get clipped off, and that just makes this team just pop off. So that's what we want to do. Get Sam out of here and put in another X-Men, preferably a small one in there. And that's going to have a lot of help on that team. In room 4, this is where we start getting a little different. Now, I'm going to scroll through and show you what he's got. He's got the out of time in 4. We've got the quick hold in 5. And we've got the secret defenders with Dorm in 6. That's Photon in there, by the way, not MLF. This one in room 5, we could just straight swap this with an Infinity Watch. I think Zundi maybe thought that their Infinity Watch was too small. We were looking through the rest of their roster, saw that it was about a 1 million power team. That might actually be better than the Darkhold in here. Now, wherever we go with that, you keep that in mind. You could just replace the Darkhold with an Infinity Watch. Okay, in 4, we have the out of time. We were thinking taking Dormammu and putting him in here and taking Black Knight out of 4 and putting it in there. That Black Knight will eliminate the new warrior counter going into 6, and Dormammu might still make this do something. I don't know. But it's the out of time team is really just Black Knight. That's really what it is. So we're thinking about putting Dormammu here. That's one way you could go, right? And then having the Black Knight in 6 with this team. And then, of course, your choice. Do you want to replace the Darkhold with Infinity Watch or leave it as is? That's fine. Again, just don't have the roster width to do anything more amazing than that. Or here's the other thing we could do. We could take out Off-Brand and Cosmic Ghost Rider, and we could put in Tangled Web, that's 99, and Weaver in place. And then we move this team, the Tangled Out of Time team, into room 5, moving the Quick Hold or Infinity Watch over into 4. And then in room 6, we would leave this as is. Now, a lot of people are suggesting that a Tangled Out of Time team would be really powerful and work really well in room 5. But that leaves you with this vanilla room 6, which the new Warriors can still beat. However, you could drop in MLF instead of Photon. It makes it a little bit tougher, but I'm still seeing a lot of people beat that with new Warriors. And then, of course, you would have to change this out with Infinity Watch. So we have an out-of-time team in 4, and it's kind of blasé. We can spice that up by making it a Tangled Out of Time and moving it to 5, or we could just put in Dormammu and swap that to make room 6 a little bit better. Either way, I think Quick Hold is as good as it gets, or Infinity Watch is equally as good. I'd really have to just see some of the outcomes to see which of those is going to get you a better efficiency. Neither is going to get you a win. And then, of course, in room 6, we're either going to leave this the way it is or swap in that Black Knight with whatever we decide to do. So that's some options for Solomon Zundy and their 37 million power roster. If you have a narrow roster, maybe this gave you some ideas, or maybe you're laughing at our ideas because we missed something. If that's the case, then leave a comment. Give me some ideas, some feedback. You can always come and join us live on Twitch. Chat helps us out with a lot of these. Juicy never wants to go on voice, and I understand why after everybody's screaming over each other today. But he still jumped into chat and gave us some great ideas for this as well. So remember, guys, don't just have a good game. Be good to yourselves and others too. And I'll see you next time. Bye.